there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. This is Captain Cryptic here. So, wanted to show you a build that I'm currently working on for the schooner. It's got some ways to go. Not quite got the weapons upgraded the way I want to and all. We're going to go over some of that. But first, there was a question I wanted to answer. It says, how do you farm kupfer bars? Okay, well, there's a couple steps you can do to make that easier for you. First is you're going to come over here, you're going to talk to Blackwood. He's going to have missions down here. It's not these blue ones. They're going to actually have a green hub mission on there. That's going to pay those kupfer bars. And then, of course, in your seasonal pass, this is as you earn those pieces of 8. We used to earn sovereigns. We now earn kupfer bars coming in here. So my next reward area will be 3,000 on that. So we have to get to 200,000 diamond rank, which is 200,000 pieces of 8 collected. We've collected 168,300 so far in this season. You may be sitting there scratching your head, well, how did you get that much? Well, obviously I'm not at the top, but you run the Mega Fort Houston or the Mega Fort down here. We'll show you where those are at. You got to be in tier 2 rank world to do that, folks. You can run Grand Fort. You get about 1,600 per trip on that. You get 2,000 in your Mega Fort Houston here. Again, World Tier 2. Every time you run that, you're going to get 2,000. Plus, you're going to end up getting those parts that you need to take your ships up. So that's going to be a good way to do it. Another way to do it, we're going to show you step by step here because this was the question. I'm pretty sure I had this in another video, but I'm going to just show it real quick. So order registry, this is where you're going to be at to pick up your orders. This is going to be your skull products and things like that. The roving orders and the standard orders. And I like it when they're actually in those two locations right there. That way we can run the roving orders, pick them all up, and then just come straight over to standard orders. And you're going to get about, to see, this will be 420 and 525. It's going to be 945 on that. Then 420 and 420 is going to be 840 for those. So you're getting up around 1,800 pieces of 8. So that takes 10 minutes to run those locations right there. Not a hard thing to do. 10-15 minutes to run through that real quick, and you're getting not quite 2,000, but pretty close. You're going to use a lot of cannonballs over on Houston. So up to you how you want to do it. I'm trying to conserve my cannonballs, but that's just me. It takes a little more time this way. Of course, you want to make sure that you're upgrading your little empire here. So we're currently sitting at 45 factories. Now, before I can get any more, as you can see on the right, I've got 45 of 45. I have to come in here to the upgrades, and I'm going to have to continue upgrading this helm right in here. So I have actually started to upgrade some of this stuff in this area here. This is going to give me a little bit better for rogue hunting. 75% scavenge helm materials from rogue merchants. We're completing new rogue hunts. I wanted to open up my rogue hunts, which again, they're found in there on that other board where you would do your pickup missions. So I do recommend doing that because that's another great source of pieces of 8 and also other types of things, gannets, saltpeters, and things like that. So you want to be able to do those. Now, the part that everybody has been waiting for, the schooner. It seems like it's a decent ship. Now, understand, I like DPS builds a lot. This one, we're going to keep tweaking it. I think it can be a little better, but we're getting there. So I'm going to show you what we currently have on this ship. Okay, so when it comes to our weapons here, I went with this Electo. Now I have come up and I've I actually built this for the Sandbuck, this Electo, but it works great on this. I'm going to show you a video where I've been doing some tests with it. So it fires 3 bolts at once. Should all 3 bolts hit the same mark, they erupt in flames and a devastating follow-up. And you talk about just massive. So it's got triple threat, fires 3 shots at once. Very easy to hit it. The draw on it says weapon can be charged for increased damage and range. At maximum charge, damage increases 300% at a range of 900 meters. So it is a sniping type of a weapon. Great stuff. Burning 2 adds 20% of burning damage. Has piercing 1 on it, adds 10% of piercing damage, increases damage to weak points. Now we've added modifications, which will be burn, which is basic burn. It Every hit deals an extra burst of 41 burning damage. That works great on the sandbuck. You talk about just massive, massive fires, but I'm actually kind of liking it on this, so I think I'm going to end up picking up another one of those. Then, of course, you have Bloodthirst. Destroying a target restores 31.9% crew stamina to the ship, so that's actually kind of nice for the bracing effect. And then your Precise Patchwork. Destroying weak point restores 200 severe damage to the ship as well. So if you get damage, you can actually just hit those weak points on the ship. You're going to restore 200 severe damage. That way you don't have that red mark in there, keeping you from using your heals. Very good weapon to have on that. So then our next one, I'm trying out these Urban Great Guns. These are pretty decent. I like culverts. These actually fire in unison. They do a pretty good job. Reload's a little slower than I like, 4 seconds, but not too bad. The unison allows all weapons at the same quadrant to fire simultaneously. Has tearing 3, so you can aim at those cells. Now I'm going to be adding some things to this, obviously, through our Blacksmith Ascension. I've got that on the sides. We're also getting that explosive perk that comes automatically on this ship, the Schooner. You have an explosive perk. It turns your broadside attacks into an additional explosive damage. So that's great. Then we opened up these Lepicere 3 long guns. These were opened up in World Tier 2. Pretty decent. I put them on the rear end of this thing. So it's an insidious weapon wielded by Lepes lackeys. Now these here have 2 ascensions already. So that saves you pieces 8. And you can actually change these ascensions to whatever you want to. I actually like the way it specs, so I'm going to keep it. It's Toxic 3. It's got Piercing 2 on there. It also has Combust, which does an extra 49 explosive damage on there. You have Energize. It says hits have a 16% chance to restore 7.2% crew stamina. Again, helping with your brace and stuff like that. So if they're coming in behind you, you're going to be able to keep popping them with this. It's going to help you keep replenishing that brace. And you get that damage per shot on your summary is up to 3323 with an additional 664. You have 225% weak point damage. Fantastic stuff. Projectile speed, little bit of, a little slower than I typically would go for, but that is mostly happening because you're Electo and things like that. Then of course your Lepicere is a long gun, so it's a little bit slower on that. But I gotta tell you, man, this thing here, the Electo, it reloads like, crazy. 1 second reload between shots. So you're gonna love that video, checking it out. The armor, I'm still kind of debating which one I'm going to use. I do like Buccaneer's Oath on ships because once you sink a ship, you get that boost of the blood and gold, which is destroying a target confers the blood and gold status on your ship, increases weapon damage and armor by 25% for 30 seconds, and that does stack for those who are wondering. So that's fantastic on that. I really enjoy that. Furniture, still playing around with it, not really sure. Dynamic ballast control. I'm using some breach locker. I'm trying these campaign screens. They do pretty decent as far as reducing the incoming area of effect damage from enemy ships by 15%. Reduces incoming burning charge by 7%. Increases maximum whole health by 3%. Ship's not exactly what I'm hoping for. It's getting better. We're getting there. We're not fully maxed out on upgrading of this ship yet. As you can see, we're not even quite to rank 12. I've only got it up like 4 ranks so far, so I need to come on up into a ranking it 7 times. So I got like 3 more upgrades I need to do to this thing, and we're getting there. Builds fire barrels, and then of course the culverin works, which increases secondary damage of our culverins by 19%. So we're going to make sure that we pick out a really good secondary weapon damage on those great urban guns. I think they're going to be okay. I don't know. We'll try, but I do like the fact that we can use the purple premium weapon or furnitures on all this stuff. That's something that's, I could actually, I don't even know why I put that, because I could actually come in and use some of these here. So I may come in and change this up a little bit and just tweak around on this a little bit. So this leather station, it does a pretty good job of reducing a blaze. I don't know how much fire weapons they're using in that, but that's where we're coming on that. Now, you may be wondering about cosmetic sets on it. So we're going to go over that real quick because I know a lot of people are into the cosmetics. So when it comes to I don't typically use a set. I usually will actually just do my stuff. I like to have my armor skin and stuff like that on there. This here doesn't have a ship skin you can remove. On color palette, I wanted to go with something fairly dark, so I went with this Daggers and Shadows from the Deadeye set. And then, I had almost thought about going with this. It looks pretty cool. This here was in the past this season. A little skeleton riding a great white. Very cool. Our guild leader, our Discord leader, he's the one who actually pointed that one out to me in the past, so I wanted to make sure I threw that on there. I think it looks pretty cool. So, and then of course the Vengeful Dead set, Moonstruck set, we got that. I believe that was from the Roadman Godin back in season 2 maybe of last year. And then I added this Unshakable Focus from the Iron Will sets. Just gives those chains on it. I thought they looked pretty good. Then of course the Insatiable. The tags that I was trying to scratch my head, figure out what in the world are the little backgrounds behind her name. Well, it's the tag on the back of your ship. Again, that was the our leader over there on the Discord was telling me that's actually what that rust's from, because I kept looking. So how do I change this? I mean, it's interesting that it's on there. I like this helm wheel here. It's got a shark eating. I guess that's the dude looking out of his mouth there. What's left of the guy. Pretty cool stuff. Again, that's from the past. I guess I should tell you the name of it. It is called the Jab Shark Rider set. Now they have a full set. You can put everything on if you want to. I like to change things up. Then you have Mussolini's Compass. I went with the Skinwalker set. And Monty the Lizard. And of course the Siren Soul. I like to use that whenever you're battling PvP, because you get those nice hits. And she likes to send out her lament, and people actually start to think maybe they've got a man goat on them. It distracts them sometimes, so it's pretty nice to have on there. I just like to aggravate people with a bunch of noises. So watching Evermore, that is the skeleton standing at the top. I think it goes good with that Shark Rider skeleton riding the shark. I think it looks pretty cool with it. But that came from the Ashen Corsair set, which was when you pre-ordered this game, you were given that set of missions to go find, and that was one of the rewards within that. And I think everybody actually gets to do the Ashen Corsair now. So, of course, the Dun 4 Firework. This is one of my favorites. It seems like we picked that up at the Huntsman over there at Lenitra for Shark Teeth, I think it was. Then the Silver Haze. If you take out a boss, you get that little effect. It doesn't last long, but you do get it. So, hope that kind of shows you what we got there. I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. We'll hop off here. Let me know what you think about the build, and also post up your preferred methods, because I'm always willing to try new stuff. I think this is a pretty decent ship so far as I can tell. So, we're going to just have to wait and see how it works out. But y'all have a great day.